Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I know that I am in the middle of the 7 dimensions of wellness, but I just wanted to come in quickly and talk about breaking generational cycles. It has been on my heart, and so I wanted to just go ahead and make a video about it. Okay, so let's break down what generational cycles are. So the name kind of speaks for itself, but these are patterns of behaviors, beliefs, actions that are passed on from generation to generation. And the reason why we call them a cycle is because they continue. They continue, and nobody breaks them. It happens over and over and over again. And most times, if a generational cycle is not broken, it's because no one has become aware that it exists. And it's hard to break a cycle when you don't even know that you're in a cycle. And it's even harder sometimes to recognize you're in a cycle, but not knowing what are the steps to break this cycle. And to take it a step further, even if you know the steps, you're talking about generations of patterns that were passed down. You're thinking about shifting the trajectory of what your family has taught you, what you've always believed about yourself, others, in the world around you, and maybe even some habits and some actions that have been in your family for a long time. Okay, so there are many various reasons why generational cycles are hard to break, but hopefully this video will kind of give you some starting points to start um, breaking cycles or formulating how you might break cycles if that's what you're aiming to do. The first one is that you have to become self-aware of the cycles. Now, you can do this through just noticing um, patterns and actions and ongoing conflict and problems in your family. You can do this through coaching. You can do this through therapy. Another way that you can notice this in your life is usually when there are generational cycles, they show up in our present day. So take a look at how you operate in relationships. Take a look how you operate in your career. Take a look how you operate in your friendships. Take a look in what beliefs are just natural to you. It's just something I've always believed. It's just always been the way that we do things. This is just how I've always been. The things that seem stuck and silent and solid in your life, the beliefs where um, I don't even know where this came from. I just do it because that was shown to me to do, or this is the way that I always seen it done. Those are good places to kind of notice generational cycles, right? Now, kind of further expanding on that point, but going to the next point is talking to people in your family. Sometimes we don't know that it's a generational cycle. Sometimes we don't know this is the same thing that my mama went through, my grandma, my great grandma went through. We don't know that it's the same thing. I found that as I got older, I started talking to my mom a little bit more, and because I was at an appropriate age, she started sharing more things with me. Okay, so some of the things she started sharing with me, I was like, oh, it's like you know your family growing up, but then you have to further explore to really know your family. One of the things that we do at my job when we have new clients is that we give them an intake. All right, and during the intake, what we do is ask about family history. So we go into depth to see, hey, did your family have any mental health concerns? Just give us some history about what your family dynamic looked like, right? So we ask those questions in order to better understand what may be some history within this person's or this individual's family that may be repeating itself. And it just informs us holistically about the person that we're looking at, right? So talking to your family, finding out more information, and this can be under the same umbrella of you're just becoming more aware. What have those things been that have been here for generations upon generations upon generations? All right. So the next step after you become aware is you have to start working to undo those messages, right? So there are two ways that we can look at how to do this. There are many, but we're just gonna look at two. So one way is to deal with um, the fruit that's coming off the tree, right? So say for example, there is a cycle of let me see, there's some words I can't say on YouTube. Um, okay. Say there is a cycle of belittling your children in your family, and not just, hey, sit down somewhere or go sit down, but cursing your children out. You grew up where you were cursed out, okay? And so now when you get angry or irritated with your kids, you cuss them out, and that's your instinct. So one way to deal with it is to deal with the fruit, right? So that would be the action and behavior, you cursing your kids out. So dealing with it, and then and you learn skills and behaviors to calm down and find better ways to talk with your kids or to express what you really want them to understand. You found out more ways for your kids to respect you, that don't include cursing at them, or that don't include belittling them or making them feel small or inferior. And when I say cursing, I'm talking about, calling your kids like stupid, or calling them the B word because your mama called you the B word, or things that are really belittling them and tearing apart their self-esteem. That's what I'm talking about. All right. And the second way, so you can deal with the fruit of it, the behavior, but then you can deal with the root of it. All right. So the root of it may look like when your mom talked to you and cursed you out and call you a B and call you stupid, that made you feel inferior. So maybe you go out through life having to establish or overly establish your dominance of, I have to make everyone else around me feel low so that I can feel high. Another root of that may be, my mom cursed me out, and I'm afraid that I have a child now that that they'll turn out the same way that I turned out as far as having low self-esteem, but I don't really know the tools. I don't know how to communicate. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So I'm just going to default settings. And how do I change my default settings? Okay, so you can deal with the fruit of it, or you can deal with the root of it. Now, these things usually they will help if you have someone walking you through them, like a coach or a therapist. So consider that as well. And then the last thing I'll talk about is you have to shift from powerless to powerful. Okay, when you're exploring some of the generational cycles in your family, it can make you feel like, wow, who am I to come in and try to break this cycle? Your family might not like that you're trying to break the cycle. It may be very difficult for you to break the cycle, for you to say something, for you to do something different. It takes courage. But one thing is, what we cannot do is, we cannot say, well, I was always raised like that. This is nothing I can do. Maybe if I would have had better parents, maybe if I would have had a better living situation. We can't stay in that place of victimhood. We can't stay in that place where we feel powerless and helplessness, because that's going to make us feel hopelessness about the situation. It's going to make us lose hope about our ability to change our circumstances, and to be better and to grow in life, right? So when we shift to a powerful, a way to do that is to say, okay, these were the things that were outside of my control. I can't control them. I can't change them. I can't change the past. I can't change what parents I was born to. But what I can do is write a list of everything that's within my control. I'm within my control. My kids are within my control to a certain extent. I can control. I can control what I say to myself. I can control what I choose to do, how I choose to respond and to react. So this is just a quick run through of generational cycles. It does, this 10-minute video does not do it justice. But one thing I want you to take away is that you have to become aware of it, and you have to kind of dig up the underlying messages that it has caused you and process that. It has to be processed, so that way you can process what happened to you or in your surroundings, and you can integrate it and move on and move forward in a way to where that same cycle doesn't impact you and the generations that will come after you. And in order to do that, you have to feel like I am in the driver's seat. Yes, it has been my narrative up to this point, but I have the pen in my hand. I can write a different story. I can change the narrative. And if you're already on that journey, I just want to highlight you and acknowledge you in that video. I know it can be hard sometimes, but keep going, keep striving for that better story. And it's not to say that we're neglecting the past, but we're not allowing the past to have the power anymore. The power is now. You hold the pen. Y'all have a great day. Bye.